Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another VFL stream. So apologies as I just set up the grid right now. So I may not, in fact I'll wait for all the drivers to join before I'm actually able to set up the grid, because unfortunately it won't really work until I set up, until all the drivers have joined. But even so, so ladies and gentlemen, that was extremely unfortunate. We have had to kind of, as Dark Inferno just rejoins, we've had to close the entire app down, we've had to relaunch the stream, and we've had to re-invite everybody. And it's not too bad, it's not the end of the world. We will restart the race shortly, as I've just set up the lobby, in fact. However, exactly, ladies and gentlemen, we have been forced to restart the lobby, but I'm sure everything will be just fine.
We have qualifying results, so we can just custom grid.
Exactly, we have qualifying results, but I will not be doing a custom grid until everybody is joined, because otherwise you have to edit the custom grid every time a new driver joins in. So,
yeah.
Question is, will we apply MOC LFC's grid penalty? Oh dear. That's the question. I think it should go to a vote, maybe. No.
Well, we need to see more of it, because on my thing, MoC just, I don't know, was slow on the straight, in the middle of the straight, and Noise ran in the back of him. There was another car there, but it's really unclear if, well, who or what caused it, because I was on board with Noise at the moment, at that time.
Very interesting. Something that another driver has just pointed out is that the top 10 drivers will be forced to start the race on the tyre that they have qualified on, which it isn't too realistic, because unfortunately their tyre wear will not carry over, meaning that if they had qualified on 2 or 3 lap old soft tyres, then they're not going to have an extreme amount of tyre wear heading into the race. However, it's the best that we can really do in this unfortunate situation. I do keep on inviting all of the drivers, but only 10 drivers have actually rejoined, which is very interesting.
I am stuck on the joining session screen, unfortunately.
Yeah, everybody is. You're going to have to restart the application, unfortunately. A lot of people are saying that that they're having a bit of trouble, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's strange, this. Yeah, I'll have to restart my game.
Okay, yeah.
Very strange scenario, this.
It is unfortunate, but I mean, it's an incredibly glitchy game, ladies and gentlemen, so don't worry too much. Oh yeah,
by
I've
the
just...
way, you need to set it to...
Yeah, sorry, I've just realised that I need to set it to F1 2021. So now everybody can select their team and driver, which is extremely nice, as we just have a few more drivers enter in. Unfortunately, we've lost a lot of viewers. We were on about 28 live viewers, and now we're all the way down to 7. So I will do messages to everyone. Don't forget to join the new stream. So
I am in, that is good.
Right. JDM needs an invite, but I'm just going to keep on inviting him. Boomboy Fries, Justino, Ollie Kalur,
driving today.
Hudnick, just in case, you never know. We'll invite them. However, JDM actually needs an invite. You're going to have to...
give them an invite.
Yeah, you're going to have to take it away with that one. So we've got 15 drivers in, and I believe we had... Did we have 18 or 19 at the very start? I'm not too sure.
I'm going to
Unfortunately.
broadcast my gameplay so Steph can see the instant between Noise and MOC.
Very interesting. Whoa. Whoa. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I have the... Ah, there we go. I've got the grid up, and we can see just how many drivers were in the race. 19. It ended at nice job, mate. So as soon as we've got 19 drivers, I don't know who we're missing, unfortunately. I can't really check.
It was that reserve that didn't join.
Okay.
Okay.
No, we've got
Steph is
18
in,
drivers. We had
No,
19 before. We had 19 in qualifying, and now we've got 18.
Show Steph the instant now.
So I'm just really going to quickly check. Infamous Aim, Pudnick. I think we're missing Pudnick. Yeah. Yeah. So I've just invited Pudnick again. He is the last, the straggler, as I call them, the final straggler.
Steph, there you go. That is the instant. What are your thoughts? You can't say anything. That is lovely to hear. Okay. Is it just, Steph, is it just on the loading screen? Ah, of course it is. Because it's not part of the... I'm going to have to use my phone.
Oh dear.
Pudnick.
Pudnick.
Okay.
Boomboy Fries is having issues, apparently, but he's in now. I don't know if that's an old message from Sky. Keep trying, but I get stuck on the joining session screen. Yeah, so just
time to restart his game.
Close the app and load it back up. We have time, don't worry. Yeah, unfortunately, that is a glitch. So as soon as Pudnick joins, of course we're not going to start until good old Pudnick is here, then we will. So, whilst we entertain our 13 stream watchers, we've gone down to 11, we're losing views. We've got to start entertaining them, Dark Inferno. So...
Quick, sing or something.
Sing. I'm not going to. I was actually tempted to then. I was like, I was that close to singing that my vocal cords warmed up. I was about to sing a bit of Bobby Darin, but unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until the Tier 2 finale. So as I said to PJ, for the Tier 1 finale, I'm going to commentate in an American accent, and he's going to commentate in a British accent for the entire race. I think that will definitely be something to look forward to. So I'm thinking that I'm going to sing on the finale. We're now back up to 15 viewers, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, that this is going to be the most entertaining race you've ever seen, and it is worth the wait. I like how everyone was talking about how I was going to screw up the lobby, and in fact, I didn't screw up the lobby. The lobby decided to screw up itself this time. It doesn't like cooperating, so...
Either way, it's screwed up.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, how much do you want to bet that my PS5 will just turn itself off? Because I've been having issues recently. In fact, it's happened 3 times now since getting it in May, in which the PlayStation 5 has literally just turned itself off.
Oh,
I'm in the middle of playing F1, and it just goes...
Do you not want to interrupt, but Steph has decided that is MOC's fault for just slowing down the middle of the straight. There's a clip, and I also agree with him. So the 5 players grid penalty for MOC will stay on.
That is unfortunate if you're MOC. As we go on to a custom grid real quick, I'm just going to make sure that the grid is perfect. But yeah, so MOC, obviously we're going to have to compensate for that change. So, as we go up, we have Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go down to next player up. We have Kevin Kearney. Pole. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Poppy, 1195 in P2. We have the United 199 in P3. We have Mr. Tom Taylor in P4, my personal driver. What an incredible driver. We have MF Underboss in P5. We have Phil Donald in P6. We have MOC. We have Scruff in P7. We have MOC in P8. We have JKS in P9. We have Boomboy Fries in P10.
Pulnick has joined, I believe.
Okay. We have Ollie Kalur in P11. Yeah, Pudnick has joined. We have Tristan in P12. We have ALB in P13. We have Pudnick, the American, in P14. We have Infamous Aim, P15. We have Eisenman in P16. We have JDM in P17, Lay in P18, and Nice Job Mate in P19. However, Lay will actually be moved down to P19, unfortunately, because he's got a quali ban. And even though he wasn't in P19 before, I've moved him down to P19 because he's got a quali ban. Haha. You can't stop me.
Evil.
That was evil. I know, it was in P18 as well because Nice Job Mate DNF'd, but I moved him down to P19 because I'm just an evil human being. What can I say? If somebody's got a quali pen, they should start from the back of the grid. And it's a long grid today. I'd hate to be Lay all the way back in P19. It's a long one. And everyone has luckily selected their cars. I was just about to say, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to pick your cars. We don't want any drivers in their incorrect vehicle liveries, vehicular.
Don't make me use standings.
Exactly. We don't want Dark Inferno to have to use his brain. Even so, we are on the grid. The drivers are selecting their tyres. Oh yeah, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you have to select the tyres that you qualified on in quali on. So if the top 10 on softs, then on lap 1 you have to pit for soft. So top 10 have to be on softs.
It's a disqualification.
Yes. So you are allowed to pit lap 1, by the way. But then it's a disqualification, just in case. Oh yeah, and then you still have to 2-stop as well.
Exactly.
You can't just pit lap 1 on hards and then be like, whoo, I got away with that.
Talking about strategy, sweet boy.
Go ahead.
The strategy here is just either medium soft or a soft medium. Quite simple. But the people who outside top 10, starting on the mediums, if they can get a good run into turn 1 and lap 1, they'll be quite set, as they'll be very strong towards the end of the race.
Extremely interesting. You see, I didn't know the strategy too well, actually, heading into the, unfortunately, Dark Inferno. I just thought, is the lobby glitched again? I'm stuck on the pit lane. Starts in 28 seconds.
That's fine.
Yeah, the timer's just restarted. Hopefully it does start in 30 seconds. Anyway, so I was extremely confused with the strategy, actually, for the race on Thursday. So it seemed like people mainly went for a soft-medium or a medium-soft strategy.
It is a one-stop, yeah.
Definitely a one-stop. So it'll be very interesting to see, because it seemed like last race, quote me if I'm wrong, but the drivers who started on the medium tyre, you and Robert caught up to them in no time at all.
We did. The tyre deg is very high here, and the undercut, as we saw Robert do on me, was incredibly strong. It's just
Yeah.
1 lap difference, and he caught by 2 seconds. So the tyre drop off is monumental.
It's extreme around here, as Kevin Kearney DNFs, not DNFs even, he leaves the session. I believe he's lagged out again, and that's why his car's started the formation lap, and he's racing off ahead, in fact, in the formation lap. So the drivers are going to have to hurry up, because otherwise the drivers at the back are going to lag out, as I very quickly invite Kevin back once again, because we do want Kevin to join as quickly as possible. Hopefully he joins ASAP. That would be
very
much appreciated.
unfortunate for the pole sitter though.
We're back once again. Dark Inferno. He doesn't have luck quite like Dark Inferno. He's got more than Dark Inferno, who has obviously taken
this race.
Yeah, he's taken this Dark Inferno chap. I don't know what he sounds like, but he's taken his maiden VFL victory only a few days ago. He must be pretty chuffed with himself. If you were him, you'd be pretty happy. Even so, let's just give a little rundown just to make sure the top 10 drivers are on softs, and if anything, the bottom 10 drivers are also on softs, or at least some of them are, ladies and gentlemen. As we flick over to tyres, we have Ollie Kahlua on softs, but Tristan's on mediums, ALB's on softs, Pudnick's on softs, and then we have 4 soft drivers, Lay on softs right at the very back of the grid. I wonder, Dark, if he's trying to get as good of a start as possible. He's starting on the softs, he's not going long. I wonder if he's going to try and get a mad overtake into turn 2, actually. It will be into turn 2, not into turn 1. As Infamous Aim and JDM accidentally bump into each other on the warm-up lap, but it seems to me like heading into turn 13 they just got unfortunate and kind of knocked into each other.
Before that thing happened, I was going to say Leah's going to be looking to overtake these drivers on the mediums, now the cold mediums of JDM and Infamous. If he gets a key start, he can overtake 4 or 5 drivers. Be very key for his race, especially with the qualifying ban.
Yes, exactly. And we do have 4 drivers, even so. Infamous, Eisenman, JDM, and Nice Job Mate, which it's almost like I cannot. Kevin can't take over his car. That's very unfortunate. He will be slow. And also there's no ghosting, so everybody who can hear it, hopefully, there's no contact into Kevin Kearney on lap 1 because he has left the session. Even so, we have 5 lights, ladies and gentlemen, and we are off on the first lap, and Kevin already has kind of rubber banded. He's all over the place. He's losing positions. I can't believe it. And in fact, there's carnage. Ollie Kahlua's out straight away, and Eisenman's out as well. It's a massive crash, and Lay's out into turn 1, and Kevin Kearney's out. It's an absolutely massive pile-up heading into turn 1. I cannot believe it, ladies and gentlemen. Turn 1, a full core safety car has obviously been called, and we have drivers who are slowing down, and there's unfortunate collisions. However, I'm not too sure whose fault that was. There have been 3 collisions at the back of the grid because the drivers slowed down, obviously, to stop their delta. However, I have witnessed them, and I personally think all 3 5-second time penalties should be removed unless they pit under safety car. Of course, they're eventually going to be pitting, but I believe that sometime, if not all the time, will eventually be removed. As Robert DS says, that's the definition of Tier 2. A 4-car pile-up. Dark Inferno missed the whole thing, so Kevin Kearney...
I'm really sorry about that.
No worries. I was able to witness it all. You might as well watch the stream and rewind, because we've got a safety car on lap 1. Yeah, so very quickly, just as a recap, for anyone who's missed what just happened. So Kevin Kearney left the session during the formation lap. He tried to rejoin but wasn't able to take over his car. So when the race started, his car did ghost, but eventually it didn't. It became solid, and the drivers behind went into the back of Kevin Kearney. I believe that is what happened. And then I believe it was actually Ollie Kahlua went into the back of Kevin because he was going, 50 miles an hour slower than everybody else.
Yeah, just watching the stream. Yeah, it was just Kevin Kearney. He just started stuff.
Exactly. So it was just a pile-up course from there. Ollie must have hit into Eisenman, and then I believe I actually witnessed Lay going into the wall. he ended up losing a wheel as JDM gets a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. In fact, there's been another DNF, ladies and gentlemen. Boom Boy Fries has DNF on the straight, potentially coming out of the pits. ALB pits for hard tyres, and JDM's in the pits as well, serving his 5-second time penalty. JDM's actually got a 10-second time penalty. Infamous Aim, so ALB's just served his 5-second time penalty and is on the hard. Infamous Aim is serving his 5-second time penalty and is actually gone on the softs, ladies and gentlemen. And JDM has served his 5-second time penalty, but still has a 5-second time penalty, and he is also on the hard tyre. But Boom Boy Fries has just DNF, ladies and gentlemen, as Phil Donald leaves the session. I believe he must have lagged out, but I will send him another invitation. But Boom Boy Fries... Yeah, so ultimately... I have to admit,
people not respecting the rule book here literally up each other's gearbox under the safety car.
That is unfortunate.
Remember, these penalties will not be removed unless a specific person is to blame.
Exactly. So, very interesting situation. I do believe that the lower three drivers, ALB, JDM and Infamous Aim, should have their time penalties removed, because I believe it was actually Nice Job Mate who was ahead of him, or ahead of the three drivers, and he slowed down incredibly slowly, and he ended up basically making the three drivers behind him have to put their anchors on and stop literally on the track. So it's very unfortunate.
There'll be lots of clips.
JDM's just retired from the session. Sorry to interrupt. He's just binned it on the long straight heading up to turn 13, and Boom Boy Fries only one lap ago DNF'd on the start-finish straight coming out of the pit lane, I believe. This is carnage. I can't believe that there are drivers DNFing behind a safety car.
Insane. It run from 19 to 13 drivers.
Literally, in the first 2 laps, and 2 of those DNFs were behind safety car. But this is an incredible start from Poppy, at least. He's fronting the pack. We have the United 199 behind in P2, Tom Taylor behind in P3, MF Underboss. Then we have Phil Donald, but I believe he's rejoined now. He had left the session. I believe he's now able to control his car, but he's also got 5-second time penalty. In fact, no, it shows to me that Phil Donald is actually out, so I'm just going to send him another invite. But this race has kind of been caused a bit crazy. Robert DS, did you set it to reduced? Is safety car supposed to be on reduced?
No.
No. It isn't, no.
Standard.
So it's on standard, as always, Robert DS, with all of the races that we do. However, obviously, that was going to be cause a safety car anyway. We had a 4-car pile-up on lap 1. That should have been a red flag if we were in regular Formula 1. And Phil Donald has just received a 5-second time penalty for colliding into Scruff. However, that's very interesting. Phil Donald has in fact just overtaken Scruff. Damage, you mean? What's with the damage? It is on reduce, meaning they can't, as in it's standard damage, but it's reduced, meaning that they can't receive rear wing damage or side pod damage. But the damage rate is on standard, which I believe is how it's supposed to be. Is that correct, Dark?
It isn't actually. It's all meant to be on reduced at the moment. Phil
that is
Donald's
unfortunate.
got 15
but let's just pretend it's hardcore mode. It is on standard, but it's reduced so they can't receive like rear wing damage. But let's be fair, safety car is coming in this.
It shouldn't really make a difference, but apparently it did. Anyway, so yeah, Phil Donald's got a 15-second time penalty. For what reason, I do not know.
I think just penalties under safety car.
Yikes.
Yeah, Scruff's got a 5-second time penalty for accidentally bumping into Phil Donald under safety car. But this is going to be interesting. The safety car restart, we have Poppy obviously going extremely slowly to give the safety car some breathing space. And it will be interesting to see how the race will be restarted. Tom Taylor, it looked like it went in the wall, but in reality he's just lagging like crazy. So this is going to be incredibly interesting.
Who has got a good restart off the green flags? It doesn't look like anyone's moving.
No one has had the ability to actually overtake into turn 2. In fact, ALB, in fact, Pudnick has just been overtaken by quite a few drivers, and he's just been turned around. In fact, luckily, he recovered extremely well, but he's gone from, I believe, P10 all the way down to P13. He was sandwiched between the Mercedes of Nice Job Mate and the Aston Martin of ALB heading into turn 2.
Oh dear. I wish I could have caught that, because I've got some idea of the FIA.
Yes. Well, hopefully that incident will be reported, but it looked like it was incredibly tight anyway. There were 3 wide into turn 2. There wasn't much that Pudnick could have done, apart from braking extremely early, letting the 2 drivers go ahead, and kind of hoping to get them back on the next lap. But it's a tricky situation when you're 3 wide into a tight corner like turn 2.
Indeed. You have some very close driving between Poppy and United one, separating 5/10 of a second. Tom Taylor was 7/10 behind United one. Top 4 very close to each other.
Yeah, extremely close. Yeah, no, even the top 5, you can extend that all the way back down the grid. In all honesty, they're all about 6/10 of a second behind each other, and just changing that to the leader, yeah, the top 3 drivers are under 2 seconds away from each other. In fact, Tom Taylor's actually run wide on the exit of turn 18 actually, so hopefully that hasn't cost him much time. However, DRS is not yet enabled. It will be enabled next lap, I believe. Pudnick's just gotten a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I believe he's damaged his wing potentially when he collided. Yes, they are going to change his wing. So he must have damaged his wing when colliding with Nice Job Mate, but now he's gotten a 5-second time penalty for speeding.
And the incident, it looks kind of like Pudnick was overtaken completely and tried to go down the inside of 2 drivers, which is quite dangerous. He does lose his wing there. It looks more like a racing incident, however, he did go for quite an ambitious move down the inside of those 2.
Extremely unfortunate kind of situation, those racing incidents, because it seems like nobody kind of benefits from it. It's heartbreaking to watch somebody's race kind of crumble, but then again, Pudnick, it's that 5-second penalty that he's picked up in the pit lane, because I was going to say he's still got a chance to get great points, you know, so it's going to be good. But at the moment, I think all eyes right now are probably on the top 2, United 199 and Poppy 1195, and I believe that they will actually, because the DRS activation zone is just after.
Sorry to interrupt. That is Phil Donald round.
Of course.
He just out the exit of, I'm not sure corner number that is, but in the 3rd sector, I think he lost the back end. Yeah,
that's turn 16, one of those off-camber turns, and he's ended up completely losing the back end. But as I was going to say, United 199 and Poppy are, unfortunately, United 199 was going to make a move, and in fact he's made another move on Poppy. Poppy got a terrible exit from turn 2, and now United stuck his nose up the inside of turn 3, and he's lost his rear, everybody. He's lost the rear and knocked his front wing on the inside of turn 3, and that's United's race almost over. He's just lost 3 positions already. Tom Taylor's now on the podium, and that's very unfortunate. He was on the inside of turn 3, and the rear wing just completely gave him no traction whatsoever, and he just lost it and ended up knocking his front wing, and it does look like he's got front wing damage. He's going incredibly slow around turn 6, so that's extremely unfortunate. Tom Taylor,
that was very unfortunate.
Tom Taylor's just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. He's the first driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty for track extensions, so I do hope that he doesn't pick up too many time penalties heading into the end of the race. But he's now made a move on MF Underboss heading into turn 13, and that is a very nice move, and he's completely used it. As Robert DS tells me that the reason why United oversteered around turn 3 was because he was using ERS, and also he did have one of his wheels on that curb, and that is a tough curb to be on.
Oh, very tough, very tough. Scruff A trying to navigate his way around United one as he heads now into the pits.
Yes.
Which, oh no, he completely misses the...
He does a Steph, everybody.
He's just done a Steph.
He's just done a Steph. He's gone into the pits. He's unfortunately lost the pit marker, and he's been forced to carry on another lap, because unfortunately the SOCHI pits, you can kind of vouch for this one. You have to brake a hell of a lot to actually get a clean entry into the SOCHI pit lane, because it's such a tight turn heading into the pit lane that, well, obviously Steph accidentally overcooked it, and ended up giving himself a 3-second time penalty, and now United has completely overcooked it. So that's unfortunate, and I believe, actually, ladies and gentlemen, he's on a 3-second time penalty for doing just that, just like Steph did 3 days ago.
It doesn't look like United one's got massive wing damage, however it is affecting his cornering speeds, and he's got Tristan trying to go around his inside, and a nice job capitalise on Tristan's mistake into that corner, and it almost overtakes him.
Yeah, heading into turn 7 and 8. Yeah, exactly. I was just following that myself, actually, Dark, and it looked like the move was there, but he was in the wrong situation, really, heading into turn 7, so unfortunately he's pulled out a massive gap. Tristan has, at least. There's now a massive gap between him, and nice job, mate, but very unfortunate.
Yeah. Very, very difficult to navigate around the relatively slow car, especially one with wing damage, as I believe he'll try and go into the pits second time lucky, perhaps.
Hopefully, let's see if he hits his braking zones quite well, and he does
better.
this time. Yeah, much better for that. So now one of the only drivers in the DRS zone, actually, of the driver in front who doesn't have DRS is JKS, and he's going to be hoping to make a move into turn 2 on MF Underboss, but unfortunately he doesn't. He's not able to. I'm sure JKS would wish that extremely long run down into turn 2 would be even longer, I imagine, so
just
not able to make a move.
Also, I've noticed what he's doing is breaking the slipstream just before it goes into corners, which gets rid of most of the dirty air, which allows him to really close up on MF Underboss, if you saw, without understeering or oversteering into the corner. So he's playing this really tactically.
Exactly. Yeah, it's great tactics are going on right now, and I do believe that the overtake is pretty much there, to be honest. There's just over a 1 second gap between MF Underboss and Tom Taylor, who's now in P2, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see this overtake from JKS. It's all but guaranteed, and it's already happened. We're halfway down the straight, ladies and gentlemen, and JKS is already a mile ahead. And yeah, very simple overtake into turn 13. Textbook overtake from JKS. And nice job, mate. Actually, let's just pan over. Nice job, mate. Completely misses his braking zone heading into turn 13. Overshoots extremely and ends up losing 2 positions to MOC and Tristan. He's now down in P8. And there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. And that's actually Pudnick. Pudnick's just spun around turn 3, just like his teammate. In fact, no, it's not his teammate, but the Williams of the United 199 did exactly the same thing. So Pudnick has oversteered around turn 3, and he's now 36 seconds.
Very treacherous right now.
That is unfortunate.
You need as much grip as you can get, especially with these 90-degree corners and camber changes, and with the hardest compound, it's going to be very difficult to do so. Exactly,
it is just so tough. So that's Pudnick now. I believe that's the gap to the leader. In fact, no, that is the gap to second place, to the place ahead of him. He's now 37 seconds behind P12, which is unfortunate. But let's see if he can still get back. But I think the driver to watch right now will be JKS Racing. He's going to be looking to make a move on Tom Taylor, like he did to MF Underboss 1 lap ago, as they go around turn 12 and onto that incredibly, in fact, it's turn 11, onto that incredibly long DRS straight heading into turn 13. Let's see if he can make that move work on Tom Taylor. He's leaving it a little late. He dives to the outside. Tom Taylor glues himself to the inside apex, and that kind of scares off JKS, and he ends up maintaining his P2 position on lap 9.
We're very smart and conservative from JKS Racing there, which is good. I would have done the same thing. It's very risky, especially as the braking zone is almost in a cake to the left. So it's very difficult, as we saw Robert completely missing his braking point and smashing into me, but we won't talk about that one.
Of course, we won't talk about that one. We don't want to spoil too much of the Tier 1 race. Yeah, you've got to watch the race, ladies and gentlemen.
Tier 1.
In fact, there's been... JKS gets an incredible exit at a turn 18, it must be, because he actually overtakes Tom Taylor.
And he comes right back at him with a better exit.
Yeah, they're now side by side, and unfortunately he's on the curbs of turn 3, and he doesn't copy exactly what his Williams teammate did. JKS does not oversteer on the inside curbs of turn 3, but he does maintain his P2 that he's stolen from Tom Taylor quite well, actually. I think he deserves that P2. Tom Taylor coming back at JKS, though, that was an incredible battle, side by side through turn 3.
Very. Tom Taylor almost made that move stick after being overtaken, but just don't think quite got.
No!
Ooh, and he's
out of the
DNF.
race! Tom Taylor! I know, I was so happy for him, actually, because I know that he's practiced so much for the Russian GP, and he was in P2, and then he was in P3, and he was doing so well. And he oversteers, ladies and gentlemen, outside of that off-camber turn 7, hits the wall, and is out of the race.
That is so unfortunate. He was doing very well right behind, but I also think Dirty Air has a little bit to play there, as it can be very treacherous, especially with the oversteer and understeer. But
exactly,
it is well renowned for that corner to send the car into the wall. But damn, that is heartbreaking.
I am absolutely heartbroken. It's terrible. Like, I've realised how bad of a job you and PJ had last year when you were commentating, watching a driver DNF after they were doing so well. I really did think that Tom Taylor was going to get his first podium in VFL, and it just shows you how quick a race can be stolen from you on such a minor mistake as well. My heart really does go out to Tom Taylor.
It does.
It really is heartbreaking. However, there could be a secret strategy here from his teammate in the Alfa Romeo Scruff. He pit about 2 laps ago on the medium tyre, and because of that, he isn't pitting under safety car, so hopefully he can make up a few places under the safety car right now, as quite a few people are pitting, and in fact he can't actually. He only overtakes like 3 or 4 people. That's an extremely unfortunate situation from Scruff, actually, because if it wasn't for the safety car, he would have come out about P4, I would have imagined, but now he's been forced to come out P8, so I would hate, whoever that Alfa Romeo team principal is, must be heartbroken watching
I know.
2 of their drivers just fall apart.
Crying in his chair right now.
Yeah, with his microphone, talking to somebody called Adam Kessel. Anyway.
This is a good opportunity for Pudnick to try and catch back his 50-second deficit. However,
that
he
is,
pits, which is smart.
It is a smart move, actually. If he goes on the medium compound now, he'll be able to make it until the end. And will this be a surprise comeback from Pudnick, who's last on the grid? But I must admit, the safety car will be out for, I would imagine, another couple of laps. If he pushes hard, he's going to be able to overtake. And in fact, he does it for a reason. He's serving his 5-second penalty under safety car, which is such a good strategy. When you get a 5-second penalty, and it's one that you know isn't going to be removed, you have to serve it under safety car. It helps so much. It really does save you, really. But I must admit, Pudnick's going to have to speed it up a little bit, because the safety car's going around turn 13 now, and Pudnick's exiting the pit lane. So he's really going to have to kind of put pedal to the metal and really use a lot of his airs, in fact, on the straight.
And now they think he is restricted to Delta now, either so he can full on push and try and gain back all of his time. Exactly.
So this is a good time, actually, to kind of check the penalties that the drivers are on. And after a safety car, a 3-second time penalty can just end your race. And MF Underboss, ALB, and Infamous AIM, and the United 199 are the only 4 drivers with 3-second time penalties. And I believe Phil Donald, I do apologise, actually, has a 3-second time penalty alongside his 2 5-second time penalties. But this is a great time to mention our sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. For the safety car, as always, Myers Sausages do sponsor the VFL safety car, and the virtual safety car is sponsored by Peterborough United Football Club, which is extremely interesting. And I do believe the Milwaukee Bucks may be... I heard that PJ is on the phone. He is on the phone with their agent, and they're looking to sponsor the league. But every time I talk about the sponsors, it just reminds me of that league that I was part of. I mean, you tell the story, Dark. Wasn't there some league that I was part of that had an actual sponsor?
I forgot which one is that? Oh, I forgot now.
I think Seth might remember. So I was racing in, it's called IKR, but it was like Inside Curb Racing or something, not too long ago, in fact. and it was the Austria race, and we won't talk about the Austria race. I totally didn't DNF
we didn't talk about that.
and die, but we won't talk about that because I redeemed it with a P5 afterwards, so it's okay. But anyway, they had, and Steph is confirming in the chat that they were sponsored by a real life company. Like, we obviously have our satirical sponsorships. I mean, what am I talking about? Satirical. They're totally legit. They're real.
We've got income.
Exactly. We are getting income from Myers, but they are getting real income from, well, I doubt it. I think it's like a rubbish sponsorship. I imagine that the league just wanted to sponsor and they're not getting paid anything. But even so, basically, I've seen it all in my days of league racing, but I never thought I would see a league with a real life sponsor. And that was until I raced in IKR, which is very interesting. But Pudnick,
very interesting.
You've got to give credit to the lad. He has caught up to the safety car. He's only a couple of corners away right now.
That is fantastic.
And the safety car is in this lap. And yeah, just as he catches up to the United 199, and he's on fresh mediums like everybody else, the only driver who hasn't pit under safety car is ALB and Scruff. And ALB in particular is in a terrible situation. He's on 9-lap-old hards that he's going to be extending until the end of the Grand Prix. So he's going to be struggling for grip. I can guarantee that.
As he does, as he hits, I don't know who that was, but he's hit the wall and lost his wing. I think that's down to leaving his ERS deployment on. Again, victim to that. Never deploy your ERS midway through a corner.
That is unfortunate, but United and Phil Donald are actually side by side going into turn 2, actually, and luckily they do come out unscathed. United ends up overtaking Phil Donald for P9. But yeah, like you were saying, Dark, look at ALB, can't even go flat around turn 3.
Going for a move in JSK Racing on turn 5, I believe that is. Makes it stick. Textbook overtake. JSK Racing might want to try and go for the move, but he doesn't and hangs back.
Yeah, that is an interesting situation, but yeah, poor ALB right now. He wasn't able to go flat around turn 3. He's really struggling out there. So what happened? He left his ERS on the exit turn 18, I believe.
I believe he was trying to get a really good exit out of turn 18 to pounce on someone. However, he left his ERS deployment on and he just lost grip on those 9-lap-old hards. Now he's completely lost his entire wing, I believe. Yes, he has. Yeah,
that is unfortunate to see. Did he end up knocking into any other cars? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch it. I was following the drivers there.
He did not one car, but I believe they are unscathed by the accident.
Oh, that's good to hear, definitely. JKS Racing actually picks up a 3-second time penalty. That means that actually, nice job, mate. The Mercedes-Benz of nice job, mate, is probably in provisional second place right now, which is extremely interesting. But Poppy, 11.95 for the second week in a row, is leading the race. He ended up leading pretty much the entirety of Silverstone last week, as there's a bit of a battle between Scruff and Tristan, and a bit of a battle between Infamous Aim and United 99, but luckily United he isn't making the same mistake as last time and keeping his airs on round turn 3. So all is good. There's a bit of contact, in fact, and I believe that was a wing loss from Infamous Aim. I'm not too sure if it is, however, it kind of looks like it. It's definitely struggling for grip around turn 5, I believe that is, but I saw a bit of debris. Yeah, but I
wouldn't be surprised if there was quite damage.
Yeah, I did definitely see a bit of debris kind of fling off. He was side by side with United 99, heading into, like I said, turn 4, and they just kind of bumped wheels a bit. I didn't think it was enough for him to take damage, but
it's Phil Donald's trying to overtake Infamous into turn 13, slowly learning these corner names.
Yeah, it always took me, it takes me a while. So when I'm actually commentating for Tier 1, I never know the corner names. But then by the time that I've done a whole race, when it comes to Tier 2, like, I'm on it when it comes to the corner names.
Nice.
But the most important turn on the track is the turn 13 after that really long DRS straight.
Interesting 3-way battle between Tristan, Scruff A and United 1. It might all very tight into turn 1.
Yeah, United had to back out then into turn 1.
Very smart, avoiding the incident. Managed to overtake Tristan.
Yeah, a bit of contact between Tristan, and in fact Phil Donald's now stuck his nose up the inside of turn 3. That is a really good line, honestly. So many drivers have ended up overtaken through turn 3, but Tristan's extremely late on the brakes, ladies and gentlemen, and he completely takes out Phil Donald, who loses his front wing, heading into turn 4 once again. That's another driver victim to turn 4, and Phil Donald is going to have to nurse his car around the final few corners.
Many incidents.
That looked like a... yeah, go ahead, Dark. I apologise for keep on interrupting.
No, sorry. I was going to say that there's a large difference between Tier 2 and Tier 1. Obviously, despite the fact that the AI car of someone did take out half the field, we'll ignore that. But there's so many incidents, and I don't know what it is. Scuffy closes the door on United one there into turn 13.
Very
However,
interesting.
Quite a lot of... I'm not unsure as to what exactly it is about here in Russia, but there's a lot of incidents today, especially penalties.
Yeah, and there was a lot of penalties last week, but there was definitely nothing like what just happened between Tristan and Phil Donald. So I believe Tristan overtook Phil Donald, and there was quite a bit of wheel bumping and quite a bit of contact between the two drivers heading into turn 2. And then Tristan went extremely wide around turn 3, as there's a bit of battle actually between JKS, and there's a yellow flag in sector 3. I believe that's for Phil Donald. A bit of a battle between three drivers at the front. But yeah, so I'm just going to make it real quick. Phil Donald was on the inside of turn 3, Tristan was on the outside, and then Tristan dive bombed, effectively, Phil Donald heading into turn 4. It was so late on the brakes for Tristan, panned over to Phil Donald, and he was pushed off the track, and as soon as he tried to rejoin, he ended up getting spun around. So I do think that's a reportable offence, and I do think that there's quite a heavy punishment coming Tristan's way.
Indeed, I'm just reviewing the incident now, trying to find it.
It will be interesting to see whether we can actually apply a time penalty to Tristan live, if it's a guaranteed enough kind of incident and the FIA agree, then we are able to apply a time penalty live during the stream.
Yep, the Tristan is roughly around 2 car lengths back from Phil Donald into that corner, so it was a mega dive bomb.
Yeah, that is an extreme dive bomb, in fact.
Yeah, that does look like a live penalty for Tristan there. Very ambitious move into turn 4.
Yeah, so we will just quickly see as we pan over. I'm just quickly following a side-by-side battle between JKS and MF Underboss. MF Underboss actually overtakes 2 cars in 1, heading into turn 2, and he manages to overtake Poppy, and now JKS is making a move on Poppy. Poppy's on the outside of turn 3. Let's see what happens heading into turn 4. And Poppy's gone for a move, and JKS has given him all the room he needs. And now they're once again side by side, heading into turn 5 now. And once again, Poppy's on the inside, but gets a compromised exit. JKS, using all of his airs, ends up overtaking Poppy once again. And now it is MF Underboss who leads this race, but because of his 3-second time penalty, JKS Racing is in fact leading this race.
Very good battles between these guys. Poppy was leading this race, I do believe, now down in P3, but don't discredit him because he is very strong. Probably one of the best Tier 2 drivers we have in the grid right now. But what's interesting to see is the ERS levels of the drivers ahead of Poppy, as they seem to have a lot more ERS deployment capabilities than Poppy. He sat around 10 to 14%, and the regards above 30 to 40.
Yeah, exactly. It's extremely interesting to see. But yeah, it's kind of calmed down a little bit. In fact, JKS is making a move, just as I say that, on MF Underboss, heading into turn 2 in fact, sorry, and he has made the move. So it's now JKS once again leading the race by quite a margin now from Poppy, because MF Underboss does have an extra 3 seconds worth of time penalties. And in fact, nice job, mate, has got 0 time penalties. He's the one who's provisionally leading the Grand Prix. And he's looking to make an overtake on Poppy. you know, at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, it goes Nice Job Mate in P1, JKS in P2, Poppy in P3, and MF Underboss in P4, once you factor in those time penalties.
Yeah, we decided the race grid will be decided with penalties, as we also saw in Tier 1. Many people got penalties, me alongside I think one or two other people were the only ones with no penalties, and we really benefited. I could have let B-Rob overtake me, wait 6 seconds, then cross the line, and I'd still would have won. So it would be very beneficial if Noise can keep clean.
Exactly, it will really give him a massive advantage in the race. If I remember, I believe it was Cole was epic. I'm just quickly checking, and it was Cole was epic last race. I think he finished about 5th or 6th across the line. Once we factored in penalties, he ended up finishing in P2, which is a remarkable finish, and it just shows how many penalties you can pick up in SOCHI, and if you don't, just how many points you can pick up.
Indeed. If it wasn't for that, Cole would not be alongside me, equal on points in P3 for the Drivers' Championship in Tier 1.
Exactly, as United 199 makes a move on MOC LFC, heading into Turn 2, and now, in fact, they're side by side once again in Turn 3. I can't believe it. So many side by sides, and luckily MOC does back off heading into Turn 4, which means United 99 is now in 5th place by quite a margin.
I do wonder if Nice Job Mate is actually playing a very smart conservative game here, as he is saving up all of his ERS, as he's still got 56%, sitting nicely behind Poppy, getting his DRS. And I'm wondering if he's playing a very conservative game to try and get the edge in the last couple of laps of this race.
I think you're exactly right.
That he still needs to pit for another tyre compound, unless I am wrong.
Oh, that would be interesting. Exactly, he's actually pit for the soft tyre 7 laps ago when everyone went into the pits. He must be gutted right now, seriously regretting his tyre choice, because, I mean, you tell me, Dark, how many laps do the tyres last? What lap did you pit during your Tier 1 race?
I pitted lap 9, and the mediums were sound until lap 27. The mediums are really underestimated in 5th races. They can last a very long time.
Exactly, so...
In fact, they could last the entire race distance as long as you do some tyre saving techniques.
Yeah, and I do think it's worth it, because those hard tyres, they just look tough to be on, but Nice Job Mate must be kicking himself right now, because it looks to me...
Nice is actually does not need to pit for another tyre compound. However, he might need to, because those softs are right now dying off. Lap 8 is when the tyres softs will be starting to die out.
Yeah, so I just get a message from Steph that he won't necessarily need to pit. It's not like he's going to get a puncture or anything, but his softs are going to really hit the wall when it comes to these lap times, and he still needs to stay
second off on lap 9. They were dropping down tremendously.
Exactly, they really are something, and he's still got to stay within 3 seconds of JKS, and if we do the gap to the leader, ladies and gentlemen, Nice Job Mate is actually 1.3 seconds already, 1.3 seconds off JKS. So there's a good chance that Poppy may actually retain his P2 and JKS may retain his P1. Could be MF Underboss even who finishes in P3.
This is really tense battle for P1. Almost as tense as one in Tier 1. But as we can see, he is now Noise is 7/10, almost 8/10 off his personal best, which I'm guessing will be on the mediums. So they will be dropping off severely. And you can already see that he is slowly, very slowly, falling back from Poppy.
Exactly, so he's now 1.5 seconds away from JKS Racing, so he's only got an extra 1.5 seconds to actually play with for the rest of the race, and I think it's a serious, unfortunately, a serious mistake for Nice Job Mate not going on those mediums. He may have had to go on potentially some old mediums or anything, but he's actually starting to exceed track limits. I believe he's just picked up 2 track limit violations in the last 2 corners. He's oversteering outside of turn 7. You know, I wouldn't be surprised, Doc, if he actually dives into the pits for another set of softs before the end of this race.
What's interesting in this league is fastest lap accounts for 2 points, which could be huge. However, if Noise is actually keeping them up quite well, as the constant battling is keeping them in. So what would be very smart, which he's doing, is conserving ERS, and if he does not pit, try and keep in the DRS, and in the very last moments try and snatch his positions. But those softs are really going to put him down in the grave almost.
Yes, exactly. So, man, it's going to be interesting. Definitely, as we have really the provisional leader of this race right now is the Mercedes of Nice Job Mate, who is leading the race through time penalties alone by only 1.2 seconds from JKS Racing. But if I have to make a prediction right now, Dark, I do think that that Nice Job Mate will either pick up a 3-second time penalty, which will lower him all the way down to P4 guaranteed, or he will end up losing the extra second. I mean, he's already 2.1 seconds away from JKS, so I do believe that we will see JKS potentially win the race, or at least be the first driver to cross the line. I mean, he's always
likely.
Yeah, exactly.
He's looking likely.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be an interesting one. Absolutely.
So if you pan over to the Tier 2 Drivers' Championship, Phil, sorry, is it Phil?
Phil Donald?
I thought Phil Donald was...
No, Poppy's leading, so we have Poppy leading and then Phil Donald in P2.
Nice Job is in P15, so this will be a huge points haul if he can get that victory. However,
absolutely.
It's not great for constructors for Phil Donald, as he's been taken out, and he's sat in P2 at the moment in the Drivers' Championship.
That is unfortunate, but I believe that at the moment, just to let you know, that there is a 7-second, a 7-point, in fact it's even larger, it's actually like a 10-point gap between Poppy 1195 and JSK. You put JSK on the leaderboard, but it's actually JKS.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't use my brain.
But yeah, so there's a 10-point gap between the two drivers.
Oh no, Noise is DNF'd. I caught that.
Safety car.
His 11-lap-old softs failed him. He got a lot of oversteer, and that is straight into the wall.
That is unfortunate. He seems to have just, his carcass, his corpse, is laying just at the entrance of turn 4. So I believe he must have had in fact, by the way, his teammate, actually, not a good day for Mercedes. His teammate Phil Donald picks up a drive-through penalty. But what I was going to say is it seems like he's lost it on the exit of turn 3, that really long left-hander of turn 3. Exactly.
Those softs, I knew those softs will put him in the grave. I almost cursed him there, jinxed him.
United 199 has retired.
What is going on?
Don't even know how that's happened, as I pan over to Infamous Aim to just try and see where kind of the carcass of the car is. It's kind of disappeared entirely, in all honesty.
Like it's here. There it is.
Yeah, it is, you're right. It's just on the exit, so he's on the straight. That's an odd place to DNF under safety car. It's on the straight and he ends up just dying. But actually, United 99 out of the race, and they were two. I mean, Nice Job Mate was a kind of a race win contender.
Yeah, the heartbreak is carrying on. Simboy, may I bring your attention to FII chat, because Steph does want to have a life penalty for Tristan in this race. But one person who is looking good, actually talking about Tristan, is in person half decent tyres on the softs, so only 4-lap old. They could definitely go to the end of the race. Yeah,
so it is a confirmation from Michael Massey. in the FIA that Tristan will receive a 5-second penalty due to his collision with Phil Donald only a few laps to go. So unfortunately there's no way to message him or let him know, but at the moment we are almost guaranteed. I mean, post-race the decision may be even extended to a 10-second penalty, but I can guarantee you that Tristan has definitely received a 5-second time penalty, at least.
United one has put in the chat that his internet is actually to blame for his DNF there.
United,
very, very
that's shocking. As Steph says, quite a few crazy things. TRT sick boy, he knows. So Tristan does know, but I'm not too sure specifically what's going to happen, but there is an extremely likely chance that Tristan will receive at least a 5-second time penalty. So if he knows in advance, then he can hopefully race, whilst using that. Now, this is extremely interesting. MF Underboss is in a perfect situation right here, Dark. Let me just explain it to you, because he decides not to pit for some reason. However, if he dives into the pitch right now, he'll be able to serve 5 seconds of his 6-second time penalty under safety car, and he'll be able to put on fresh softs. That means he no longer has a time penalty. He's only got a 1-second time penalty, meaning he's only got to finish 2 seconds behind the leader to win. And because you're under safety car, the 5 seconds will be about 2 seconds. And if he had pit the lap that the safety car was called in, he would have probably come out around P7, but he wouldn't have a time penalty, and everybody ahead of him would have a 3-second time penalty at least.
Yeah.
So if I was MF Underboss, it's too late now, unfortunately. I believe the safety car will probably be coming in this lap. But yeah. What's interesting is how few drivers with only 2 laps to go have decided to pit for softs. The only drivers so far are Scruff and Pudnick, who have come out in P7 and P8 respectively.
I may also bring attention that they have a drive-through penalty, Scruff and Phil Donald, and it doesn't seem to have been... Yeah, they don't realise that you cannot serve a drive-through penalty under safety car, so they're going to have to come in again, which is really going to hinder them.
Heartbreaking. That is the race over for Phil Donald and Scruff. Let's be honest, after they served that time penalty on lap 26, they're going to have 1 lap to overtake every single car and also catch up about 20 seconds. So it's safe to say
the fastest lap of the Grand Prix.
Well, exactly. I believe that Phil Donald right now actually holds the fastest lap. He does, with a 1:33.3. So it'll be very interesting. But, I mean, Infamous Aim and MOC, I forgot to mention, they have also pit. And Infamous Aim in particular may have a good chance right now, Dark, for the race win, because whilst MOC has a 6-second time penalty, that means he's going to have to overtake JKS and pull out 3 seconds. Infamous Aim only has to overtake JKS, is in P5 at the moment, and the guys ahead, Poppy, MF Underboss and JKS, they are on 13-lap old medium tyres. So you tell me, Dark, how much of a difference will the fresh softs be to the ridiculously old mediums?
The softs will definitely be a huge advantage. So MOC is looking really good for a very high finishing position. However, do not discredit the penalties here, as NMF Underboss has 6, JKS has 3. So right now it's looking very, very nice for MOC and Infamous Aim. As long as they can keep on the track, no more penalties, and really pedal to the metal right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, Infamous Aim has dropped back a bit now. He's lost like 1.2 seconds just on that safety car restart. MF Underboss and JKS are side by side in at turn 2, and it's MF Underboss who takes the lead, but JKS is still leading provisionally.
MOC is overtaking his teammate into
turn 4, around the outside of turn 3, and he makes it stick. That's just how much of a difference those softs have. Yeah, extremely clean as well, but Poppy's still ahead of him because MOC's got a 6-second time penalty. Oh, and he almost hits the wall there on the exit of turn 5, yeah.
But here we can see the softs are going to really storm through the field, but he's only got 1.5 laps to pull out 6 seconds.
Exactly.
In order to keep his positions. Otherwise,
Yeah.
he'll be bumped right back down.
Yeah, he's got to pull
around
out.
about P5.
Yeah, exactly. You're completely right. He's got to pull out about 3 seconds from the rest of the pack, and he goes for a dive bomb, and it's shocking. JKS pushed wide, but he's still leading the Grand Prix provisionally. I thought that JKS was out of the race then with that dive bomb from MOC heading into turn 13,
Same.
but he managed to keep hold of the car, and if he just pulls it together, he might still actually lead the race. The gap to the leader between JKS and MF Underboss is 1.7 seconds, and we're on the final lap of the race. All he has to do is stay within 3 seconds of MF Underboss, and he has won the race. So it'll be extremely interesting to see what's happening. And he's on 60% ERS when MF Underboss is on 25. So I don't want to predict the race early, but I do think that JKS has won this race.
Ooh, Infamous Aim has gone for tried to go for a dive bomb there, but Poppy used a slip road and managed to stay ahead of him there. So battling down there because the mediums are falling off quite heavily, but back up to the top 3. I'm not sure if someone's got damage because JKS Racing, it's the worn out mediums.
Interesting, yeah. So he is moving pretty slow, but
However,
MOC. It seems
about to win the race.
Yeah, so JKS is about to win the race. MF Underboss is going across the line first. It will be very interesting to see where Poppy comes out as well, because as it stands right now, he's actually less than 3 seconds behind MF Underboss. So it'll be Underboss who finishes in P3, Poppy in P2, and JKS in P1. But what I was going to say is it seems to be a bit too little too late from MOC. He's managed to work his way up the pack quite a lot on those fresh softs. But man, it's that 6-second time penalty that has really cost him. But yeah, so as MF Underboss crosses the line, I do believe he's going to finish the race in P3 as JKS Racing wins the race and Poppy finishes in P2.
Fantastic racing from those two. They're the top 5 there, and Pudnick as well managed to get a really high position despite being 50 seconds behind everyone. I believe lap 10, lap 11. Fantastic recovery from him, and as we can see, Tristan has received a 10-second time penalty and 2 penalty points for this incident, so he'll finish behind ALB in P8.
Yes, that is very interesting, and that's live decisions from the FIA. Extremely interesting, actually.
Yeah, we had multiple members, including PJ, B-Rob, myself, you and Steph, all in accordance there. It saves us a very hefty job.
But yeah, that was a mad race, so congratulations to all of the race, those in the top. MF Underboss for an incredible drive, first driver to cross the finish line, great result. Congratulations to JKS for winning the race, just through being a conservative driver and not picking up many time penalties compared to the others. And also, congratulations to Poppy as well. Can we not forget that Poppy was leading the race for the majority of the Grand Prix and had to fend off a lot of drivers towards the end. So, extremely tight racing.
And may I congratulate Pudnick as well for a fantastic recovery drive and a well-deserved driver of the day. I am almost positive that he'll also win driver of the day in the votes in VFL as well. That was a great drive.
Extremely interesting, and that is the conclusion of round 2 of Tier 2 of the Virtual Formula League, as JKS Racing takes his first win in the Virtual Formula League with Poppy 1195, the current championship leader of Tier 2. Unfortunately, coming in P2 with MF Underboss in P3, Pudnick in P4, an incredible recovery, just as Dark Inferno said. It's those lack of time penalties. He had 0 time penalties at the end of the race, the only driver to do so, and it ended up boosting him up so many positions. MOC LFC in P5, Infamous Aim, Tristan, ALB Scruff, Phil Donald, and United 199 in P11. Nice job, mate, in P12. And I believe the rest of the drivers, to be honest, DNF'd in the first couple of laps.
Yep, that'll be very extensive reviews from the FIA there, so we'll see what is the matter with that. But I believe the rule is, despite it being the AI, it will be their fault unless they weren't actually in the game, which I don't think it's Kevin Kearney was. So it'll be very interesting what the outcome of that will be. But yeah, very unfortunate for them, but fantastic drive from the top 5 there.
Extremely interesting. So now it's time to move on to the interviews. Yeah, the post-race interviews. As our first interviewee joins my own driver, Tom Taylor 07, who, man, my heart really goes out to you, Tom, because you drove such a good race. You were in P2 and P3. I was cheering you on the entire time. And I honestly thought I had a heart attack live on air when I saw you drive into that wall and lose your wing and your tyre and DNF. I just couldn't believe it. So, I mean, it's... Yeah, well, it's not too embarrassing, in all honesty. I think that drive was so good. I think people will remember you for that, to be honest. So, it is great. I just want to quickly check, just before we carry on with the interview, that have you got your party settings enabled so that you can share your voice chat, just so that everybody on the stream, yeah, just to make sure.
All right, Sam.
Okay, perfect. So now everybody can hear. So yeah, so as you were saying before, you reckon it was just a bit of oversteer, bit too much throttle outside of turn, I believe it was turn 7, turn 8.
Yeah, I was going to pit on the lap that spun as well, so it's pretty unlucky. And
yeah.
I think I could have been up there if I didn't spin then.
Yeah, honestly, it just seems so unfortunate, because I know how much hard work that you've put into time trial for Sochi. And I mean, first of all, it was a pretty decent qualifying result, if I do say so myself, from Alfa Romeo.
We tried slipping, but it didn't work at all.
Oh yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't actually able to notice the Alfa Romeo slipstream. I did pick up on the I think Haas went for a slipstream and it didn't work too well, but it was still a good qualifying position. And then in the race, you were just a man on a mission. You were on fire, overtaking a hell of a lot of cars. You ended up in P3 for a vast majority of the race. You were battling with P2, and I
got undertaken under safety car.
Yes, that is
right at the start.
Yeah. Well, that is unfortunate, but I mean, when you were in P3 and P2, just before your DNF, I mean, how much? What were you feeling in P2? Your heart must have been pounding.
Yeah, I thought I could have really gotten something, but I just bottled it.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I mean, when I saw that incident, which was oversteer, my heart did definitely go out to you, but. Then again, it happens so often, you know, if you make one tiny little mistake in a really long 50% race, then you just end up losing all your points. But luckily, because this is the VFL, you do still get points in P13, and you'll be getting a lot of points in P13 still. So I would, if I was you, definitely be proud of that result. I know it's hard to not feel heartbroken when you DNF, but I still think it was a great result, and I think everybody watching actually noticed how good of a start that was, and how we all know that many points are going to come later on in the season. So I'd definitely be proud of that one.
His next race, Azerbaijan, yeah?
Unfortunately, my least favourite track on the calendar. But hopefully hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully you perform quite well. So that would be great. But fortunately, we're quite short on time, so we've got to move on to the next driver from Poland, MF Underboss, who finished P3.
Well, P1 on track, I'll take it.
Absolutely. I mean, you taught me through it. So you unfortunately got the 6 seconds of time penalties, as we know.
Yeah.
And the drivers behind got the 3 second time penalties. You made an interesting decision not to, and me and Dart were talking about this, not to pit under safety car just before the end of the race and go on a fresh set of softs. And you could have also served 5 seconds of your time penalty, which would have been very interesting. Did you know that that was an option, or did you like make a conscious decision not to?
It was a conscious decision because, like, I had the pace. I could tell I had the pace over, who was it? JKS.
Yeah.
I knew I had the pace over him. I was like, I'll do it. I'll get him at turn 1 because he got terrible safety car restart, which was a bit upsetting at first for him. I was hoping that they'd battle it a bit more for that P2.
Yeah.
Which they sadly didn't. I tried pushing for that 3-second gap between me and Poppy, though. I'll tell you right now, my heart was beating out of my arsehole right at the end.
Honestly.
I
was
could
it?
feel it there.
It literally, I imagine that you were really trying to pull out those 3 seconds on the rest of the drivers.
Yeah, I really was. It was difficult because I was also oversteering right at the end, like last corners. I was oversteering like mad over there for whatever reason. So that's where I got most of my 3 seconds from. So just hoping I could pull it out everywhere else but those 2 corners. So.
Yeah, it seems like, to be honest, a great finish for you. Just checking the driver's standings from the last couple of races, as I pan over to it right now, you were actually in P9 in the driver's standings before this weekend, and I'm sure you'll be bumped well up the standings, to be honest, because it was a great finish. Yeah, you were the first one to cross the line. If it wasn't for those unfortunate time penalties, you would have won. But I would still be very, very chuffed. And it sounds, to be honest, man, that you are pretty happy with that result.
Yeah, I'm basically shaking. So.
Oh dear, yeah. Honestly, it was a brilliant result, and I think I would be too. It was just such a crazy race, like right from the very beginning.
I've bottled races like this before. I had a race win in Russia once. Literally could sniff it 2 laps to go. I spin it in turn 12.
Yeah.
I cried that night. I absolutely teared down.
Oh dear. I know how you feel, man, but luckily I think that tonight you're going to get a good night's sleep, because that was a great result, honestly. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to move over to, I believe it was ALB, actually, might have been the next person to join. And I'm just going to say to everybody, make sure that you have it so that your party voice can be shared, just so that we can pick you up on the stream. I forgot to actually remind that to Emma Thunderboss, so hopefully everyone was able to hear him. But anyway, so ALB kind of talked me through the race. I believe that you were in the Aston Martin, and you got a bit of a bad restart on the safety car on lap 26. Yeah, and that is unfortunate. I mean, you ended up getting a drive-through penalty, like you said, and it was just kind of quite unfortunate overall. But I still think it was quite a good result. I mean, talk me through any other kind of key moments that happened, just kind of remind the viewers. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty good result for Aston Martin overall. Yeah, exactly. So just checking the driver's standings right now, actually. Your teammate is actually Infamous Aim, and yeah, he didn't do too bad, if I remember this race.
He definitely pulled through. He definitely took advantage of everything that was given to us. And obviously there's going to be some incident reports filed out tonight, but apart from that, good race.
Yeah, definitely one to be proud of, so yeah, definitely, enjoy it. What a result. As we pan over to, I've just realised that in the lobby, I didn't notice before, is our race winner, JKS Racing, and we're only just interviewing him right now. I mean, you've got to talk me through the whole, the end of the race, really. You must have thought that you had won. Unfortunately, I can hear myself through the echo, which is tragic. Yeah, if you're able to end that, okay. Oh dear, that's painful to hear. Right, I'm just going to try and concentrate when talking. But what I'm saying is, you must have known that you were going to win the race quite early with maybe 2 or 3 laps to go when the safety car was called and everybody ahead of you had time penalties. So what was your kind of thought process for the final couple of laps? Yeah, definitely. But I noticed that you were on those extremely old medium tyres, and a couple of the drivers behind you had actually pit for fresh softs. So when you notice everybody coming into the pit lane and you don't, did you start worrying that you had made the wrong decision? Yeah, very interesting. I must admit, it's a incredible race to watch and definitely a result to be proud of. It's, your first win in sim racing, like you said, and just checking the driver's standings from round 1, I actually think you're way up there battling with Poppy for the Drivers' Championship, so it's definitely something to be proud of. So, yeah, enjoy it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, honestly. As we move over to Tristan, the final driver to be interviewed, and he's extremely patient. He's been waiting quite a while to be interviewed. I mean, tell me, first of all, what was your opinion on the FIA's decision to give you a 5-second time penalty for that incident between you and Phil Donald?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that I was definitely in the wrong there. I think I've accepted that myself, that I didn't really make the right decision to go for the dive bomb.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so
I
just
probably
remembered.
should deserve whatever I get.
Yeah, so I've just remembered I do actually think it's a 10-second time penalty, but it will only demote you 1 position, so you'll end up finishing in P8, I believe, behind ALB. But
Yeah.
it's very tough, I must admit. Like, when you're battling with a driver, and especially with those 90-degree turns around Sochi, it's just so difficult to be side by side. So I'm sure it was an accident. Luckily, there was no malice behind it. And it sounds like it's just an unfortunate situation. When you're battling for a win, you just kind of outbrake yourself and accidentally hit into other drivers. But did maybe the game plan change a little bit after that safety car was called at the end and you found out that you got a 10-second time penalty? Did you...
I think it was... I had a little bit of minor wing damage from, like, hitting the wall slightly, like, with that incident. So I decided to go pit on softs and just try and be forward, further forward in the pack.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the safety people were dropping like flies, and at the start of the race, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, literally, it was a remarkable
I just see
start.
like 5-6 cars that was just DNF'd.
Yeah, honestly, there were so many DNFs. I think about half the grid ended up DNFing from the race, so it was an interesting one. But it was definitely tough to kind of avoid all the carnage. It must have been, but it was still a brilliant result, I must admit. P8, and you ended up finishing quite high. In fact, you finished very high. You finished P7 in Silverstone. So that's a brilliant result, and you're definitely still in contention for a good position in the championship. So I'd be proud of that, definitely.
Yeah. The only thing I'm kind of gutted about is that in qualifying, I got blocked by Kevin, and I was purple sector 1 and purple sector 2.
Oh, dear.
And he blocked my lap, and it was so disappointing, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, no, but you can report that, absolutely, and we're pretty strong on qualifying, blockages and such. So if you report that, I'm sure that Kevin will get a hefty penalty. But honestly, it's heartbreaking when you end up losing a quali lap, because even though the other guy gets punished, you still end up getting punished yourself, really, by losing your lap. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, you definitely made the best out of a bad situation, and it was a brilliant drive. It was a pleasure to watch, man. So can't wait until next week.
Oh, I can.
Oh,
Street
shit.
circuits aren't my strong point.
Yeah,
But
neither.
I started on the mediums, which really put me at a disadvantage. Because
Yeah.
when that initial first safety car came out, I decided to make the risk to go straight onto hards, and it was way too early to go onto the softs, and obviously I couldn't go onto a set of mediums, so
Yeah,
it really demoted my race.
yeah, exactly.
Like what
It
I was
seems,
planning on going to.
yeah, it seems like a tough one, but especially with starting on the mediums. I remember on Thursday we discovered that whoever started on mediums ended up losing mega amounts of time, and we obviously had that early safety car, which would have hurt you. So, I mean, look, to be honest, it seemed like a tough race, and you did a really good result, P8. You got to be proud of it. So, yeah, nice. Now it's just to kind of focus on the next one when it comes to Azerbaijan, which I'm not a fan of. I don't like Azerbaijan, but
I don't like any type of street circuit either, so
yeah, exactly. Are you looking forward to the Spa-Francorchamps that we're having later on in the season?
Again, another one I'm not too great at.
Okay, what's your favourite track?
I mean, it was Silverstone, but I didn't end up performing that well, so...
Well, luckily we have got Monza only in a couple of weeks, so hopefully
yeah,
you
Monza's
perform
not too
well.
bad.
Yeah, hopefully. So it'll be interesting to see, but unfortunately I think I'm going to have to call that a day when it comes to the interviews, because it's getting quite late. The stream's been on for quite a while, so just to do the formalities, unfortunately Dark Inferno's muted himself, so I don't know if he's still here with us to do the outro, but I think I'm going to have to take it away.
I can do the outro
myself.
after
He
I do
is.
the interviews because
Take-
it's very interesting.
Yeah, take it away, Dark.
Oh,
Outro.
me. All the pressure. Anyway, that wraps up tier 2 of Russia. Fantastic result for JSK, KS, sorry. Fantastic result from him, congratulations. And I think that is it for us today.
Absolutely. And you know what happens same time next week for the Azerbaijan Tier 2 race, but also don't forget to tune in to the Tier 1 race next Thursday with me and PJ in the commentary box for
And I'll be
the
in my
Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And Dark Inferno, the most recent Tier 1 race winner, will try and redeem, will try and keep on his streak. So it's definitely one to watch. Do not miss it. And
Better not.
can't wait. Yeah, better not miss it. And hopefully PJ actually turns up this time, because I miss him. I miss PJ. Right, Ethan, so, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye.